NFC services to help make all these problems go away and start servicing the merchant community. And actually, I'm a long-time employee at Vivotech. I've worked under one of our panelists here, Mohammed Khan, for many years, and I learned almost all of my retail knowledge from Khan, so I feel lucky to have the ability to actually address the problems that retailers face with NFC. I think the first panel was a fantastic call to action for this panel. So we had a very good summary of the desire for alternative payments to happen, the hope that NFC will happen, but in the right ways, in ways that make it profitable and valuable to retailers. And so I think hopefully this panel can sort of address some of those challenges that were brought up in the first panel. I think what I'd like to have is the panelists introduce themselves and their connection to alternative payments, and then we'll jump right into some questions. So Didier, you want to start?
Yes, so I'm Didier Serra, one of the founders of Inside Secure. We supply chip technology to the industry, either contactless, NFC, or secure chips to the industry. We are glad to see that there is a finally traction and demand for security, was mentioned on the previous panel, as well as how to better leverage NFC to interact with customers.
This is Mohammed Khan, President and founder of Vivotech. Vivotech is a software system company focusing on delivering NFC-enabled solutions. So, and I think let me give you three different views of what we do. One is many of contactless readers that are deployed here in the US, Canada, and many other countries. 70% or more, they are all Vivotech technology based. So that's one of the very important, what I call paving the road that we have been doing over the last 6-7 years. So just to give you perspective, we started in 2001, so it's a little bit more than 10 years of journey that we've been on, really focusing completely on the mobile enablement for the retailers and for the payment industry. Number two area we do, besides getting all those readers out there and getting the acceptance network enabled for the mobile phenomenon, is providing the TSM software as well as OTA provisioning software, wallet component of the software. Basically, I use the word, hands use plumbing for the mobile network, for the mobile phone, so that it can address the payment industry, it can address the retailers. Okay, so that's kind of infrastructure software that we have developed and that we provide to enable very different services, including Sequent software that they enable as well. And the third area, which is a very important area, one is to enable the point of sale infrastructure, number two is to enable the mobile phone infrastructure. The third extremely important is the application platform. The whole of that, as we were talking about earlier in the panel, is value-added services. How we can deliver more value, better value to the consumer to enjoy a better shopping experience beside the payment. So payment is an essential component, but at the same time, it's a great value that I believe retailers are going to deliver to their customers, giving them better information, better decision, and market for them to decide on the right products, the right price, and the right set of services. So this is the third area that we will provide software platform to enable those exciting activities.
My name is Richard Single. You're going to have to excuse me today, I'll lose my voice, but I'm CEO and founder of a company called Waspit. Waspit is a mobile payments wallet, and it enables people to load that wallet by linking their bank account or check account, linking a credit or a debit card, and also loading it with cash at various points around the country. We're fully operational in the UK, and we're launching the service here in November this year. The ways in which a Waspit user can actually then spend their money or use their wallet is by using the MasterCard Pay Pass service and the NFC readers that are out there. We link a Series card to the account, so they're also able to access cash at the ATM network, so they can do peer-to-peer transactions with also a variety of text-based payments. The platform is then, or the accounts are then managed via an online portal, and also via Facebook page. We're predominantly pushing this out to students, and the product has been very much tailored to what they want. And there's been a lot of discussion in the first panel about microtransactions. And yes, it is getting down that way. And in particular, we find that students are finding it very easy to pull out the mobile phone and to pay for those microtransactions.
So Oscar Munoz, I'm in charge anyway. We, in essence, develop secure payment applications that fit the needs of all type of transaction environments. So we support, in essence, your regular ECI, your POS, or as it is today, your Verifone, like the options they have in the marketplace. But we support that, and we're also the perfect bridge for the newer technologies, where we really shine is converting cell phones into secure payment issues, secure payment accepting devices. We also own the PCI level 1 validated, secure brain or cloud that makes that all happen by delivering those transactions securely in any type of data connection or any type of data protocol to whatever processor or host is the data transaction on the other side. So we support the all, but we're also pushing all of technologies, including NFC, AMB, and regular commercial.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Bausch. I am from Discover Financial Services. Discover is a Chicago-based company that operates a direct-to-consumer bank and issues Discover cards, and also operates a global payments network branded as Discover Network in the North America and as Diners Club globally. And I am the head of e-business for the company. I'm responsible for the company's digital presence, websites, and marketing and delivery, but also the mobile channel. I'm happy to be here particularly because we are, like most of you, invested in the future of the wallets in your field as a payments mechanism, and I'll learn more about it.
So the good news is that we have a heavily biased NFC panel. With an NFC form moderator, I will try my best not to only have a discussion around NFC. But since I do have the pleasure of having the first question, why don't we start with the state of NFC? I mean, we've had a lot of conversations around NFC in the retailer community, in the mobile operating community, the financial services community. A lot of us have got our first gray hairs from NFC. So why don't we just have the panelists that want to discuss where they see the state of NFC as far as consumers ready to walk into stores and use it. So do you want to start?
Yeah, first, for me, it was not just gray hair, it was no more hair. So we have been working a long time on NFC. The good news is that this is not anymore a question of is it happening, is it going to happen? This is happening now. There is tens of models being launched. The industry has been talking about millions of units. I know some disappointment when recently the number came down from 70 million to below 40, but at the end, what matters? If it's not happening 100 of million in December this year, it will be in Q1 next year. So the good news is that nice smartphones are coming with NFC capability. Hundreds of models are being built as we speak and will be launched next year. Mainly smartphone, but the smartphone will represent half of the device used by 2014 and 15, and most of them will have NFC integrated. So various platform and smart devices being put in the market, and that will be deployed massively in the coming years with NFC capability, offering the retailer, the consumer, the application provider with a platform to connect with their consumer, to securely connect with the consumer. It's not just about NFC, which is being integrated into smart devices, but security as well, which is a key aspect of this technology being integrated. And the secure chips being integrated into the mobile device could be leverage over the NFC channels for convenience, as well as over other channels, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or whatever communication channel which is being deployed in mobile devices. So the key aspect for all the effort we are working on as a secure chip suppliers is to make sure that the security is at the center of integration of this technology into mobile devices. I think the next big step for the industry, the retailer, the consumer, to be able to use the technology, and for the service provider, the TSM, and all the technology provider into this industry is how do we provide easy access to security services, to credential management, to this secure platform in the device, so the application developers can develop application, they can be inventive and don't have to focus on the technology itself, but on the services that they can provide consumer and retailers to use so they can better connect with their consumer more securely, more efficiently. It was mentioned, higher by better, faster, smarter on the first panel, and NFC communication is one way to do that. What is again at the center is how you do it securely using NFC or other communication channels available on the mobile devices.
So I think one of you've been hearing about NFC for like 6-7 years now, and the good news is finally, as Didier rightly pointed out, it has started to happen. Not only India securely shipping millions of NFC chips going to get embedded into the various handsets, not even the smartphone market, and it's happening as we speak. And by the way, in that regard, then led by guys, they have publicly announced that they were going to start shipping anytime, maybe this month or next month or so. Just one of the players. But the second part which has started to happen is the infrastructure enablement, where not only the carriers, they are able to participate into enabling those phones along with the wallet component, along with the back-end infrastructure that enables not only payment, but also the value-added applications. So that has started to happen. Vivatech is involved in multiple commercial enablement of carriers, as well as group of carriers in different countries, enabling that kind of infrastructure. So it's good to see that we engage into those things that we were engaged last 3-4 years more than pilots. Number two aspect of enablement is the card issuers. We again is engaged in multiple large card issuers. Some are obviously multinational card issuers, enabling their infrastructure so they can provision their card over there. Not only getting the plastic into your pocket through mail, that's what they do, but also now enabling them to be able to provision their card. Not only the credit card, debit card, prepaid card, and every aspect of what you can. That's the second area of enablement. Third is what I pointed out last, as I mentioned, over the last 6-7 years, we've been enabling the merchants as a collectively as an industry. MasterCard, Visa, Amex, Discover, they all played a very important role enabling a lot of different merchants. To give you, there are 200,000 point of sale locations, merchant locations, store locations here in the US. They are enabled with the NFC technology or contactless way. All of those locations, every point of sale in that location is capable of accepting payment from not only contactless card, but also from this NFC phone as well. So payment point of view, we have very well deployed, to give you a number, 15% of the top 150 merchants, 15% of the top 150 merchants, they are enabled today. Every point of sale location nationwide for those retailers, they are able to pay with this NFC payment. So they are already enabled in number one. But now the effort is going on to enable those merchants not only accept payments, which is Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex, but also be able to accept their own virtual payment as well. Whether it's a prepaid card, gift card, as well as their loyalty acceptance, as well as coupons and offer acceptance. So we can deliver much more richer experience to the consumer rather than payment only. Without being very specific, there was one country where NFC was being launched and was payment only, and the merchant basically just said, and I'm some of the merchants in this hall as well. So what's in it for me if I accept payment from the mobile only? Yeah, I accept payment. I have a very different option. My consumer already pays. There's no value. It was a big thing for them, for the carrier, as well as for this whole NFC system provider. That's NFC is not payment. It is much more value. Much more value that also give a value to the merchants as well. So within that context, another value that comes in is this alternate payments as well. And clearly, because we are not limited to the plastic anymore, when we get to have a payment instrument onto the food. So we are seeing a lot more activities, how various different alternate payments, they will prosper because of mobile, because of NFC. So that's another aspect of it is becoming clear as well. So good news is that those things have started to be more in a production implementation and targeting for like a first half, typically by most of the players I'm seeing around the world, whether Asia, Europe, or here in North America as well. And with these NFC phones, anything 20 million, 40 million, or 70 million phones, whatever they may be. But one thing I would say beforehand, that I'm literally seeing that most of the smartphone models, and I do not want to talk on behalf of Apple, so that's for them to talk about. Most of the smartphone models, they're going to be NFC enabled. And so when we hit the Christmas time next year, I really literally believe that most, it's not the 70-80%, most of the smartphones, that's what I'm seeing on the people.
From a WASPET point of view, we look at user experiences is going to be like, and it's a combination of having the user educated on what solutions are available to them, and then having that solution accepted at the retailers. I think ABI research recently suggested that by 2016, 85% of terminals worldwide would be NFC enabled. Here in the US, I understand the number of retailers that accept MasterCard PayPass is at around 130,000. So we have acceptance, and I think generally consumers are also fairly educated on how they can utilise mobile apps and how they can manage funds now via those apps. So the natural progression is to start going through to making payments using the mobile phone. Yes, we're seeing more and more NFC-enabled smartphones coming onto the market. I agree with what Khan says about the likelihood of that reaching potentially 70% of all smartphone sales by next year. But we also have the issue of how do we get the solution out there today. And that's where a lot of technology bridges, such as the RFID tags, are necessary. People say, well, why would I use an RFID tag stuck to the back of my phone if I can just use a piece of plastic and it's in my wallet? At the end of the day, what we're trying to do for the consumer is educate them, get them used to swiping payments, get them able. I think one of the former panelists said that home without his wallet but had his mobile phone. And I mean, to be able to send money to a colleague, to your son, to your wife, to be able to ask for money if you're a college student, to be able to check what your balance is, to be able to go into 7-Eleven or McDonald's and buy something. It's all down to educating the consumer and making that available to them today. I also think from a user point of view, it's got to be far more than just payments. Whether it's building in loyalty solutions, whether it's building in your driver's license, your transit cards, it's got to be far more than a payment solution. People have got to see the ability to, whether it's buy coupons via it, whether it's linking it to searching for the best deals around you. You know, I mean, these are things that once you've got the customer, and if you've got the technology embedded in it, both the retailers and, I guess, the payment service providers such as ourselves can enhance the solution and provide a more, move with the evolution of the technology.
From the Charge Anywhere standpoint, we enable cell phones to be able to accept NFC transactions, so you're a merchant using your Google Nexus S or whichever NFC phone you have in use. We certainly enable that. Also, the mobile wallet, or I think digital wallet perhaps is a better concept, right? The sensitive data on the cloud. We also enable NFC transactions from the Asian side. Personally, as a guy that was knocking on retailers' doors, right? I come from a different angle, perhaps, than the rest of this honorable panel. I was the guy going to the merchants, and Mr. Merchant, buy this phone, because, you know, and he was EMB, I remember, invented in 1970, and then the first batch came out in 1984. And you can see around how many terminals have that EMB thing. Personally, what I would say is that thank God for the mobile wallet, right, for NFC, because that's the consumer. I think a lot of times as a technology provider, we lose touch of a lot of the common sense things. And you are all consumers. So if I do this, or if I do this, I will argue to say that it's kind of the same. It's really, so the premise originally was saving time. And I think the premise, thank God, changed with the phone, because now we can deliver coupons, we can do other things. So the take is yes, NFC, I think, finally found that corner that is going to allow it to go further. It is not a time-saving device. I've been listening to the statistics for so many years. Like I said, the no hair, I definitely got the gray hairs. I think I got a few with EMPs too. And I even got a few from biometrics too. We don't know what happened to their touch value. So yeah, I think the mobile wallet is a game changer for sure. Finally, we found a corner to make NFC make sense. Originally, just putting a tag in a card and doing this instead of this is really no advantage to the retailer, no advantage to anybody on that delivery line. So we should see this taking off right now with the mobile wallet. And again, we enable both the Asian side and the client side.
Hans, the question is, what do we think about NFC? What do we think the future is, and how we're involved?
Yes.
I concur with Oscar, and I like the approach. I think that in a lot of cases, the payments industry can be more technologist than consumer-focused, customer service-oriented delivery. And I watch a lot of inventions looking for a market. And I think that there are a lot of technologies that solve a problem that customers don't have. In particular, around NFC, I'm concerned that if, in fact, the adoption will take 15 or 20 years, will there be, that vacuum, something will rush in to meet it, if there is a pressing need, I think. And then I personally watch consumers and the adoption curve of these things, and I think we're all early adopters of such wonderful payment technology innovations, but there is a long, long lag time for the majority of consumers to embrace something that doesn't provide clearly overwhelming value. And I think I really enjoyed the last panel. A number of the presenters mentioned it needs a loyalty program that makes sense, that is above and beyond the loyalty program that they have today. It needs to be more convenient than they have today. And that's a pretty high bar. It's pretty convenient today. So I am cautiously optimistic that it will happen, but I do think that it's probably a little bit longer than the majority of people think.
So Mike, you want to, maybe the panel to take, if not NFC, so we've heard a lot from the first panel about, is SMS the lowest common denominator, and should merchants embrace that? Is this an or question? Is this 2D barcodes or SMS?